Happy New Year, everyone. It's so incredible that 2024 is in the history books and we're opening up to such an exciting new year in 2025. I've been working on so many projects. I can't even tell you how excited I am to be jumping into these projects full steam ahead.
Like I like to tell people, yappy neigh year. Because we've got the dogs yapping, we've got the horses neighing, and it's a new year, so yappy neigh year.
Yes, yappy neigh year to everyone. We have used that saying for a long time, and the first time Jason came up with it, I searched it on Google. I'm like, has anyone ever said this before? And apparently it's not a thing, but we've been trying to make it a thing, so.
Hasn't made it a thing yet, but we only get to use it like once a year, so.
Yeah. So we have some really exciting numbers to share with you, some projects we're working on. We were able to help almost 3,000 animals in 2024.
2,984 to be exact. 16, we're 16 away from 3,000.
16 away, such a huge accomplishment. And what really shifted in 2024 was the amount of animals that we helped here. Typically, like the grant program, we helped a really lot of animals, which we did. We helped over 1,000 animals through the grant program. We'll get into that later, but we had almost 2,000 animals that came here to our shelter here in Tennessee.
Do you think having 2 full-time vets may have helped with that?
100%. 100%. We couldn't do it without you, but let's dive into some of these new programs we have going on. Like this one I'm so excited about.
What, the Horse Plus Legislation Coalition?
Yes. This coalition is so important. So I think it was back in 2008 is when Jason and I first started talking about a 501c4. And here we are all these years later, and we have a 501c4. So what that 501c4 means is we can actually take donations to help encourage decision makers to focus on horses. As a 501c3, there's very restricted opportunities of what you can and can't do lobbying for better laws. So it is out there, the Horse Plus Legislative Coalition. What we learned when we were going to Washington, D.C. is, for one, they're not horse people up there.
They know nothing.
They know nothing. They're relying off of basically people that also don't know anything on the front lines of reality of what horses are facing. And we also saw, almost every time we go there, a strong presence with the Cattlemen Association. And that's who they listen to. And they see horse folks coming, but but as a whole, disorganized, fractured,
infighting.
And they're like, until everyone's on the same page, we're not even going to worry about it.
It's time to get on the same page.
We're getting on the same page. So we have a coalition now. We're going to be working on bringing in other organizations, celebrities, folks from the native reservations that are here. Their voices have not been heard.
Well, the only way they've been heard is not to stop slaughter, but that it's how they can survive. And it's time to change that narrative.
Yes.
Because there is an option.
We're changing the narrative. So go to horsepluscoalition.org, sign up on the email. There's a Facebook page, Horse Plus Coalition on Facebook, and follow it and start seeing the progress. We have so many amazing things planned in Washington, D.C. on the lobbying forefront. It's time to end horse slaughter. It's time to end the big lick soaring. Together, we're going to make this happen. So that is a really exciting project. The next one I have affectionately called my VIP project for a very long time.
Oh, the Wild Horse Res project. Helping horses off of the reservation, wild horses.
Wild horses on the reservation. So years ago, we started going out and helping on the reservation. And one thing that I noticed right away is that most of these horses are very well cared for, and the men and women on the reservation are some of the most amazing horsemen and women I've ever seen. But again, the world does not see them. It's just not.
They're just quietly doing their thing.
There's such talent there, and nobody sees it. And over the last several years, I've been trying to figure out how to bring that talent to Horse Plus, and we did that in 2024. And we have been working on this project. First, it's like, let's just do a training challenge, and Dawn Olivieri from Yellowstone, 1883, Homestead, she is very passionate about horses, and we started working together on this of how can we help reservation horses in a significant way. And it went from let's help the horses to let's bring job opportunities to these amazing horsemen and women on the reservation. So we are doing a wild horse res challenge. And if you look on here, there's over a dozen celebrity endorsements with this project. Super exciting. You'll notice a whole number of familiar faces from Yellowstone. There's a whole host of people coming together, and this is going to be a challenge like we have never seen before. At first, I was like, okay, we need a 90-day challenge because that's how long it takes to gentle a wild horse. The Navajo horse gentlers can take a horse in 3 days from wild to riding, and it's calm, it's relaxed, it's amazing. So we're trying.
And it sticks. A lot of people are like, well, if you train, if you gentle a horse that quickly, then you come back a few days later, won't remember anything. No, they come back a month later, the horse remembers everything. They just keep going.
So this is from years and decades of a connection that the world has overlooked that Navajos have with horses. So we're really excited about that project. Go to wildhorseres.org and check that out. Follow along. There's also a Facebook page. It's going to be wild. We're planning a red carpet. So if you want to meet, maybe Don Olivieri or whoever,
No, if you want to meet Tawny.
Or you want to meet me and Jason. Yeah. You can get tickets for this, but follow the Facebook pages, follow Horse Plus, make sure you subscribe to this video so you don't miss out on any of these exciting things we have going on in 2025.
Bob Barker donated $100,000, his estate, in 2024, and we got the education center mostly done.
Yeah.
And the small animal clinic is up. It's literally
It is up. It is up, and it's really exciting. We went round and round with different names for the small animal division, and we have settled on Horse Plus PAWS. So the PAWS is capitalized. It stands for Providing Animal Welfare Services. So Horse Plus Providing Animal Welfare Services. There will be a spay-neuter clinic there. We'll be moving all the dogs and cats, other than the barn cats. We like them here. They help with all kinds of rodents and whatnot. They'll be moving down to this other facility. It's about 3 miles from here. And I know if you watch our videos, you've heard lots of barking dogs. And so we're really excited. I know the vets are really excited about having the dogs off site. And the horses probably are too. I imagine if your horse is irritating listening to dogs barking.
But what's great about this is it's right on an intersection of the major highway. And it's not good to have horses right on the intersection of major highway, but with the small animals, it's going to be so easy for people to come adopt. It's going to be so easy for them to bring their animals for the spay-neuter clinic. Just it's a much better public-facing location.
So we're going to have it potentially opened late spring, early summer. And then we're going to start with like a monthly spay-neuter day, and then we'll progress from there. And this is all as funding is available. We don't have any, contracts at this point that are funding the small animal programs. We're working on it. We're working on grants and stuff for it, but we're relying 100% on support from people just like yourself doing what you can to help us. So when Bob Barker passed away, he wanted to die penniless. That was his goal. But when he did pass away, there was enough money to be divided between 40 different organizations, and we are so incredibly grateful that we were one of those organizations. And we wanted to build an education center. We've been mentoring organizations since 2019, and we've had nowhere to bring people for mentoring. And when I was first building this facility, the silly thing is the media room where you see everyone working on the computers and whatnot, that was the education room in my mind. But now we have an amazing, huge education.
It's probably still too small in the grand scheme of things, but it's big.
It's huge. It's huge. And we're so incredibly grateful for Bob Barker leaving an estate to Horse Plus. And so we've got a lot of different plans. Obviously the workshops where we're mentoring organizations that are trying to do better. We have the retreat coming up, but we're going to be doing a new program this year. And basically it's for those that are like, so you want to run a horse rescue. this is the reality of it. So we're going to be doing a whole new educational program on that, let alone all the programs for law enforcement. I know firefighting. We got a lot of different trainings that we have, and also training for the public of how they can do better. So yeah, the education facility is amazing.
So Horse Plus Foundation.
Yeah,
what's that about?
Horse Plus Foundation. It is almost a year old now, but we've been developing it, growing it. If you go to horseplusfoundation.org, there's a website there. This foundation is to secure the long-term growth and support of Horse Plus Humane Society and all the programs. So if somebody would like to leave a lasting legacy, we have a foundation for that now. So just like Bob Barker leaving us in his estate, and you're seeing, there's a spay-neuter clinic, there's an education center, you can leave a lasting legacy. And another aspect of the foundation is, if something was to happen to you today, what's happening to your animals? So working with us to make a plan so your animals are safe, and everything that you've worked so hard for in your life, it doesn't end. Your legacy continues in your love and passion for animals. So we're going to be working more on the foundation and getting it there, because it's important. We have to think about everything. I'm a big picture thinker, so it's important to do that. So let's dive into how many animals and everything.
If you want to talk about the big picture happened in 2024.
Yes, it did.
Here at our shelter, we provided rescue and shelter and care for 1,902 animals at our facility here in Tennessee.
It's a lot. Sometimes it's like, whew, we do a lot. And you watch the episodes and everything. It's like, wow, how do they do all this? Sometimes we wonder how we do all this.
I'm sure our staff wonder how they do it all. But that included 663 horses.
That's a lot.
And other equines.
Horses.
That's almost 2 a day.
Yeah. We have been so incredibly busy helping so many horses.
About it.
But the impact we've made on the slaughter pipeline is significant. I track the USDA records, and there's a decrease in this year of 2024 because we were able to intercept over 500 horses directly out of the slaughter pipeline, and that reduced the USDA export numbers. So that's really amazing in itself.
Yeah, and then also there was the 1,198 dogs and cats, and 41 other species of animals.
A lot of dogs and cats. That's one reason we have a small animal division.
And it just shows, that's one reason we actually moved to this area of Tennessee, is there was no effective small animal dog and cat program that was helping in a major way, and the need is so huge. We have people driving hours to surrender dogs and cats.
6 hours
because
or more.
Nobody else closer said yes. Yeah. And that's sombering. You have rescue organizations everywhere. You have municipal animal controls. You have humane societies. You have SPCAs, and they all say no. We have neighboring animal control agencies telling people, take your animal there. We don't want to accept it because it might hurt our euthanasia rate. And
our team has worked so incredibly hard. With almost 2,000 animals here at our facility, we've had a 91% adoption placement rate for adoptable animals. That is incredibly huge. So with all the dogs and cats we're helping, the need is so huge. And over a decade ago, when we came to Tennessee, we actually looked at a map and where's the area where there's no animal services? And we're like, okay, hole in wall. Interesting. Here we are. We had 41 other animals. We had turtle, guinea pigs, ferrets. That's the plus in Horse Plus is for everything else. But the reality of an open admission shelter is something that we have embraced as soon as we realized what was happening to animals within our journey of over 20 years of rescuing animals. So we want to dive in a little bit on the numbers and the reality. Like I said, a 91% placement rate for adoptable animals is
and that's 100% of adoptable horses were placed.
100% of adoptable horses. There's 36% of the animals that came to us needed humane euthanasia for medical reasons.
People bring us their animals to put to sleep. Like
We do. We take owner requested euthanasias. These are things that, a no-kill shelter would not do.
Right.
And they're churning animals away that need help. And our philosophy is, let's be open in mission. Let's do everything. Let's help animals regardless if they're adoptable or not. And we'll be there for those tough decisions. We did have 21% behavioral. We are in an area where there's a lot of aggressive dogs. Unfortunately, there's a lot of horrific injuries that happen to people in this area from dog attacks. And if we don't take those animals, they're not going to be treated humanely. Their death is going to be horrible.
Or someone's just going to shoot them and miss and hurt them. And
absolutely horrible. So we do take animals regardless of their behavior. But 91% adoption rate is incredible. So for cats, it was a 97% adoption rate for adoptable animals, and dogs was 82% for adoptable dogs, and 99% for all those ferrets and guinea pigs and stuff for their adoptable rate. But I think it's interesting in the aspect of, Horse Plus euthanizes animals, and you can take a no-kill shelter, which the benchmark to be a no-kill shelter is an adoption rate of 90%.
So technically we're no-kill.
So, but they're churning away all those animals that they can't adopt out. We're an open admission shelter, took in almost 2,000 animals, maintained a above no-kill rate, 91% for adoption rate for adoptable animals. It's a testament of the hard work we do here and the love that we have for animals. So,
and our adopters.
And our adopters coming forward. It's truly amazing. And I don't like the no-kill philosophy because I see organizations just churning animals away that desperately need help. And there's a better way of doing it, and it's helping all animals and working with professionals and veterinarians. What's the best thing for each and every animal, and then working like crazy to get those adoptable animals into loving homes. So outside of our organization, we also assist horses and other members of the equine family through financial aid, support, organizations, veterinarians, and private horse owners in situations. So How many horses did we help through the assistance program?
Well, it was 1,082 in 2024. And that's over 1,000 horses. That's like 3 horses a day.
I think the number that I'm still trying to grovel my head around is that through our assistance program, we were responsible for funding the castration of 672 stallions.
That's almost 2 stallions a day.
That's like all the horses we had here basically at Horse Plus were all stallions that got gelded because of Horse Plus. Like I'm trying to wrap my head around this.
But this doesn't include the stallions at Horse Plus.
No, it doesn't include the stallions at Horse Plus.
So it was probably 750 or something like that.
This is outside Horse Plus, but to take almost 700 stallions and get them castrated, for number one, they're going to be able to stay in their homes now. They're going to be able to live a better life. And there's not a chance of those stallions making more unwanted horses that could end up in the slaughter pipeline. So the impact of that number over the next 5 years, 10, 20, like it's huge. And I'm so incredibly grateful for everyone helping and your donations, and we're doing what we can, but almost 700 stallions getting gelded.
Through just our grant program. I'm just like, wow. And that was about $70,000 that it took to get those horses castrated, but now they're going to have better lives, and they're not going to be contributing to unwanted horses in the slaughter pipeline. So when you see Tawny asking for donations, that's what's going through her mind is how many horses can I help with every donation we get? And the more donations, the more we can help. We actually had to slow our grant program down this year because we didn't have the financial donations to keep it going to the degree we could have with more donations.
Yeah, with more donations, we could have helped probably around 2,000.
Easy.
Yeah. But we had to start like really budgeting this year because there were so many horses that needed help. There was 277 horses that received the last act of kindness through the assistance program that were suffering and their owners needed help.
It's very, very
and
expensive.
Without that financial assistance, those horses could have, like, if they had no options, they could have ended up at auction and gone to slaughter.
Or just pasture neglect death.
Pasture neglect. So, it's the assistance program is so significant because it's helping so many horses so they don't end up at an organization and they don't end up at the slaughterhouse. There was an additional 133 horses that we helped through urgent need situations and natural disasters. So they might have been at an auction, we helped save them. They might have come through a buyout program. They could have been affected by floods, tornadoes. So your donations are so critical to the work we do because we can't help these animals without us, and we get constantly asked to help. And
so how much is too small to make a difference? If somebody doesn't have a lot of money but they want to donate and they want to make a difference, what's the smallest donation that makes a difference?
Even 50 cents can make a difference, because if you we have 600,000 people who follow us on Facebook. If you took all those folks and they did a 50-cent donation.
$1. Let's make it $1.
Okay, let's say $1. $1. Overnight, we would have $600,000. And if we can get almost 700 horses gelded for $70,000, just imagine what we could do if everyone donated just $1. So no donation is too small. It all adds up because we're all coming together to make a difference. And
typically, I haven't done the math this year, but typically our average donation is about $43. And we do all this on a lot of small donations. So don't think I can't afford much. My donation probably doesn't help much. It helps a huge amount.
It helps more than you could ever imagine. And the work that we do here is so critical, and it's making such a huge impact. Not only are we helping all these animals, we're mentoring other organizations, we're developing programs to help get rescuers on the right path from the beginning.
One thing, too, I think that might be important while we're talking about donations is when you hear Tawny talking about she's working with celebrities and cast from Yellowstone, they're not donating to Horse Plus. They're lending their voice.
Yeah.
Like Dawn has her own program. She puts her money into her own programs. She's not donating to us. She's lending her voice and her wisdom and her network to help drive this forward. But that's not where the donations come from to help these horses.
Yeah, we don't have any amazing person out there that's just covering all the expenses here at Horse Plus Humane Society. Like, we have 2 veterinarians, we've just hired a registered veterinarian technician. Like, there's a ton of expenses here at our organization that we don't have one person covering. It's everyone coming together. Yep. And we see a difference. Like, if times are hard and we start seeing, people not able to give, it affects the amount of animals that we're able to say, yes, we can help. And we are working with those celebrities on the Wild Horse Res project and things, and they're excited to lend their voice over. But at this point, we haven't seen financial support. It's just the ability, if you take the celebrities that have okay, yes, we love this Wild Horse Res Challenge, there's it's millions and millions of followers that these folks have. I think it was 30 million if you take all of their followers.
Combined voices.
Combined voices. And they're going to be able to help educate people. And that's what this is about. So, we don't have an amazing person out there covering all the expenses. And I think sometimes people think that and they're like, oh, I don't need to donate. No. Your donations are so incredibly needed. And
like the Bob Barker, $100,000 grant, it cost over $70,000 to get the education center done. And that didn't leave much to build the small animal clinic, which we've already spent that. So when you hear that, yes, we get a big donation for specific projects, it doesn't mean we don't need your help rescuing, sheltering, and protecting horses.
Yeah, I know one thing that happened in 2024 that I saw is we did have an amazing person pass away, and she left 2 properties to Horse Plus, and so incredibly grateful for that the one property has sold, but a portion of that property is designated to certain projects. Like that was her wish. And we can't use that for daily operating. We can't use it. And I did see a decrease in donations. And like one property, it's been on the market now for months.
Yeah.
And it hasn't sold. So just when a donation comes in, you're like, oh, that's amazing. No, like there can be very designated projects that we can use that money for, but we need donations to our general operating fund to help rescue, shelter, and protect horses. So when we get an application, there was an application that came through for 200 stallions that were going to be gelded through a veterinarian, huge project. And like, we can do this, but we need financial support. I want to say yes to that, but that's a lot of money. And we need your support more than ever going into 2025 because we have a huge momentum moving forward right now. And there's so many amazing projects, and your support is what's going to make it happen. Like we have our boots on the ground, but you're here with us through your support, standing beside us, making it happen, because we can't make it happen without you. So
and just real quick here at the end, I think we're ending. Looks like we're ending.
Yep.
It's not just cash. You can donate stocks. You can donate bonds. You can donate gold. You can donate cars. Like,
we will figure out a way. If you have
Yes.
a donation you want to make it, we will figure out how to make that donation help animals. So just thank you so much for all of your support in 2024. And 2025 is going to be amazing, and we want you here with us. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss anything, and follow the work we're doing. It's incredible. And
how old is Horse Plus turning in 2025? We're turning 22 years old.
22 years old. I was 19 when I started this with Jason, and I'm just like, I look at 19-year-olds today and I'm like, no wonder nobody took me seriously. Oh, some kid wants to run a horse rescue.
That's nice.
That's nice, yeah. But here we are. You know, we're in our 40s, we're still doing this, and we have huge plans for the future, and you can help make that happen. So thank you so much for your support, and I hope you've enjoyed catching up with all the work we did in 2024 and our amazing plans for 2025.